How do you serve several small zones with one variable refrigerant volume VRV split system without adding additional indoor fan coils and still provide individual temperature control? Currently, to achieve individual temperature control, you might need separate fan coils for each room with the ability to control airflow. If the building has a bunch of small spaces that are too small for the smallest VRV indoor fan coil unit, then the use of air volume dampers to divide up the capacity into smaller zones works best in these scenarios. With the use of Daikin Zoning Kit, the ability to serve small areas is better achieved because zone dampers divide up the air from a single indoor fan coil to serve each space. Using Daikin's Zoning Kit eliminates the need for multiple indoor fan coil units to create individual zones, which should save money. This allows smaller spaces to be served and individually controlled. The smallest available indoor fan coil is currently 7,000 BTUs per hour. If your space required less than 7,000 BTUs per hour, then you would have a couple of options. One would be to install an oversized indoor fan coil unit for the space, or share the air with a fan coil that serves multiple rooms, leaving the room with a lack of individual control. There is the option to have up to 6 separate zone dampers supplying variable airflow to each zone based on demand. Daikin Zone Damper Box Construction. The Zone Kit is basically a sheet metal plenum with the zone dampers attached at one end, while the other is attached to the indoor fan coil. The individual zone dampers respond to the demand from the corresponding controller in each space. Controls and thermostats. Each individual zone damper has a zone thermostat that controls the airflow to the room. The thermostat allows for on-off function, schedule control, temperature set point, touchscreen interface, and sleep function. The zone thermostats use 915 MHz wireless communication and 2 AAA batteries. There is also a main thermostat with a wired color touch display that is used to configure the zone damper kit and can be used as a room controller. An add-on BACnet gateway module allows the control of individual rooms using BACnet IP compatible building management system. The main thermostat uses a WG20 4-wire shielded communication cable supplied with 12 VDC from the main control box. This main controller can control all the zones, eliminating controllers in each zone, while still allowing each zone to have individual set point capabilities. There must be at least one hardwired controller to the control box mounted on the Daikin Zone Kit. The other controllers will communicate wirelessly to the control box, which can be up to 164 feet line of sight distance from the wireless controllers. There is the option to also hardwire all zone controllers if preferred, or if wireless communication is troublesome. In this case, the total wiring allowable for each terminal is 130 feet. The DZK control box will need 120/240 VAC power. The control box has an alarm input that allows for an alarm to be used to shut down the fan coil and close all zone dampers. Each of the zone dampers are powered by 12 VDC from the control box. An interface board provides communication between the zoning control board and the indoor fan coil via the nav controller. Lastly, there is the ability for their Intelligent Touch Manager, ITM, using the BACnet client option to provide individual room control. You can use the DZK with a VRV heat pump or heat recovery system. The Daikin Zoning Kit can be attached to a compatible ducted indoor fan coil unit that ranges in capacity from approximately 15,000 BTUs per hour to 54,000 BTUs per hour and contains anywhere from 2 to 6 zones. So, depending on the capacity of your indoor fan coil, Daikin provides up to 6 zones with their zoning kit. With the largest indoor unit of 54,000 BTUs per hour, this allows the option between 2 to 6 zones depending on the size of each zone. There are 4 different zone damper configurations to choose from and 7 compatible indoor fan coils. The zone damper kits come in 4, 5, and 6 damper configurations, which allows anywhere from 2 to 6 zones to be configured. This allows more than one damper to feed larger zones by combining dampers, or allows one damper to serve multiple air distribution outlets. Air balancing. The air entering the fan coil is offset from the center of the zone box, causing some of the zone dampers to receive less air than others. This is particularly relevant with the smaller DZK 030E4 and E5 models. This causes a non-uniform air velocity, and the center dampers receive more air while the outside dampers receive less. If all dampers are not required, then they can be blanked off, just as long as a minimum of 2 zone dampers are used. Key benefits of using the Daikin Zoning Kit. Number 1. Avoid adding indoor fan coils to achieve individual zone control. Number 2. The ability to serve an area that is smaller than the smallest VRV indoor unit. Number 3. Increased comfort with individual control. Number 4. Increase in the VRV system ability to meet the demand of smaller spaces. Number 5. A reduction in the amount of refrigerant required. If you like that video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.